Hello there, how's it going? My name is June and this is my 25th recording of the book Atomic Habits. And in this one I will talk about chapter 13, how to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. So let's begin. About 40 to 50% of our actions on any given day are done out of habit, but the true influence of your habits is even greater than these numbers suggest. Habits are automatic choices that influence the conscious decisions that follow. A habit can be completed in just a few seconds, but it can also shape the actions that you take for minutes or hours afterward. So there are two ideas in just the first paragraph. So half of the things you do on any day are done out of habit. So if you really think about it, that's actually true. But what you do next after those habits is also determined by the habits. So if you perform a negative habit, you're more likely to perform another negative habit. If you perform a positive habit, you're going to perform you are more likely to perform another positive habit. Isn't that what we call momentum? So that's what he calls decisive moments, the moments you actually take the decision what you are going to do next. If you can master the decisive moments, then you can have a very good day. So let's look at it. It seems to be easier to continue what you are already doing than to start doing something different. You sit through a bad movie for 2 hours, you keep snacking even when you are already full, you check your phone for just a second, and soon you have spent 20 minutes staring at the screen. In this way, the habits you follow without thinking often determine the choices you make when you are thinking. Interesting. So we sit down to watch a movie, even though it's bad, we decide to just finish it. Or we are eating something, we feel we are full, but we decide to finish it anyway. We we make we get a temptation to check the phone, and the next thing we know, we are staring at it for 20 minutes. So we make a decision with our conscious mind, but when we are doing something, we don't really think about it. And when we look at the clock and we realize too much time has already passed. So there's a positive aspect of it as well, not just negative. If I change clothes, I know the workout will happen. Everything that follows, driving to the gym, deciding which exercises to do, stepping under the bar, is easy once I've taken the first step. Now it I mean, sounds too good to be true, right? Just change the clothes and you'll go to the gym. But technically, that's how it works if you think about it. If you do the first step, later steps will follow. Every day, there are a handful of moments that deliver an outsized impact. I refer to these little choices as decisive moments. The moment you decide between ordering takeout or cooking dinner, the moment you decide between starting your homework or grabbing the video game controller, these choices are a fork in the road. Decisive moments set the options available to your future self. For instance, walking into a restaurant is a decisive moment because it determines what you will be eating for lunch. Technically, you are in control of what you order, but in a larger sense, you can only order an item if it is on the menu. So that's the whole idea. When you walk into the restaurant, you are given a list of choices. So whenever you make a decision like picking up your phone, so you are given a list of choices what to do on the phone. We are limited by where our habits lead us. This is why mastering the decisive moments throughout your day is so important. Each day is made up of many moments, but it is really a few habitual choices that determine the path you take. Yeah, for example, think about waking up early. When you wake up early, you are going to do something productive. But if you wake up late, most of the time you won't do anything productive. So let me highlight this idea. We are limited by where our habits lead us. So that's the idea of decisive moments, the moment when you actually decide to do something. And the 2 minute rule actually leverages this idea. Let's let's understand what it means. Even when you know you even even when you know you should start small, it's easy to start too big. When you dream about making a change, excitement inevitably takes over and you end up trying to do too much too soon. Very powerful idea. People join a gym and they just want to shed 20 pounds in, I don't know, 6 weeks. And it gets disencouraging when the scale doesn't move much in the first 2 weeks. However, if someone goes to the gym for a few minutes and don't look at the scale very much, especially in the starting days, then they can actually keep their momentum and keep their will motivation going. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Now, he says that your habit should take less than 2 minutes, but I don't think many people will agree with it. But the idea is that when you start a new habit, you should focus on starting the habit. So, for example, for building a good physique, focus on going to the gym. That's the idea. You'll find that you will find that nearly any habit can be scaled down into a 2 minute version. Yeah, so you can actually break it down into a very small step. Yes, this is true. I agree with it. So, for example, read before bed each night becomes read one page. A study for notes become open my notes. Yeah, sitting on the desk and opening your study notes will take you about 2 minutes. Run 3 miles becomes tie my running shoes. Yes, tying your running shoes will take 2 minutes, but obviously people don't just want to do 2 minutes of it. They want to do for more. That's a paradox, right? People don't want to do too much, but they will do nothing. A very a weird paradox. So he talks about thinking about doing little. When you think about doing little, you're more likely to do it, right? The idea is to make your habits as easy as possible to start. Anyone can meditate for 1 minute, read one page, or put one item of clothing away. And as we have just discovered, this is a powerful strategy because once you have started doing the right thing, it is much easier to continue doing it. Yeah, that's the idea from Decisive Moment, right? If you focus just on the first 2 minutes, you are more likely to do it for more than 2 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And that's pretty good. Reading for 10 minutes or running for 10 minutes is a lot. A new habit should not feel like a challenge. The actions that follow can be challenging, but the first 2 minutes should be easy. What you want is a gateway habit that naturally leads you down a more productive path. Very good ideas. People often think it's weird to get hyped about reading one page or meditating for 1 minute or making one sales call, but the point is not to do one thing, the point is to master the habit of showing up. The truth is, a habit must be established before it can be improved. If you can't learn the basic skill of showing up, then you have little hope of mastering the finer details. Wow. So let me highlight that. Very good ideas. So a habit actually has two steps. The first step is to actually to show up. Okay, so I think this is too much. I have highlighted too much. I think I'm gonna remove this part. Instead of trying to engineer a perfect habit from the start, do the easy things on a more consistent basis. You have to standardize before you can optimize. Yeah, again, he's saying the same idea that first thing you do is create the first step of the habit, and when you are consistent with it, let's say you have spent 2 weeks, I would argue, spending 2 weeks consistently on just the first 2 minutes, you can actually scale it up. Strategies like this work for another reason too. They reinforce the identity you want to build. If you show up at the gym 5 days in a row, even if it's just for 2 minutes, you are casting votes for your new identity. You are not worried about getting in shape, you are focused on becoming the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. You are taking the smallest action that confirms the type of person you want to be. Yeah, this sounds like a very stoic idea, focusing on the internal, not the external. So your body will take time to get better, but you can take the step you can take the positive steps that lead you down a more productive path, as he said. So 2 minute rule also helps you take control of your life, because now you are doing what is necessary instead of thinking too much about the result. We rarely think about change this way because everyone is consumed by the end goal. Isn't that what I said? Everyone is consumed by the end goal. But one push up is better than not exercising. 1 minute of guitar practice is better than none at all. Actually, I'm a piano player, so I'm gonna say piano. 1 minute of piano practice is better than none at all. 1 minute of reading is better than never picking up a book. It's better to do less than you hope than to do nothing at all. Yes, the idea is to it's better to show up. Think about, are you going to commit to sitting on your desk every day, for example? That's what we are doing. We are creating a long-term habit. It's not just sitting on your desk for 2 minutes, it's sitting on your desk every day. Can you actually think about it? So it's better to do less than you hope than to do nothing at all. Most people dream about studying every day, but they will not even sit at their desk. That's the idea. Chapter summary. Chapter summary. Habits can be completed in a few seconds but continue to impact your behavior for minutes or hours afterward. Many habits occur at decisive moments, choices that are like a fork in the road and either send you in the direction of a productive day or an unproductive one. The 2 minute rule states when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The more you ritualize the beginning of a process, the more likely it becomes that you can slip into the state of deep focus that is required to do great things. Interesting. I think I didn't add notes about this idea, so I'm just going to remove it. Standardize before you optimize. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. Yeah, I try to, I personally try to limit the amount of content I put in the notes, because if I put everything, then there would be no difference between my notes and the original book. So that's why I try to remove some things that are extra details and focus on the most important aspects of each chapter. So that's why I removed a few things. So I think this is it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.